All right, Facebook. I'm just waiting for Instagram. Okay, we got Facebook, we've got Instagram. Here's what's going on. I am getting ready to tape a podcast. And so I wanted to make sure that I'm live as well. So I'm going to be taping a podcast. I'm going to be talking about why diets fail. We all know they do. This is not big news. And more importantly, what you must do before you ever even consider on going on one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on now. I'm going to record this podcast, and then I'm going to jump back in. I'm going to answer questions. Hey, Janice. So good to see you all jumping on. Hello, hello. So you will hear me not shouting you out during the podcast because I will be taping a podcast. And then as soon as I'm done with the podcast, go ahead and post all your questions, everything else. Make comments all throughout. I know when I hit a nerve or when something's going on. And then at the end of that, I will be jumping in and answering questions. Cool? All right, are we ready? I'm going to turn on my recorder. So that's why this mic's in here. So I've got my special recorder on. Okay, here we go. Hold on, I need my new notes. Where'd they go? I've got a new format. What we're actually getting ready to do, which I'm super excited about, is we are doing a brand new podcast. We're actually starting out with a new season, with a new name, and a new format. So now I've got to be getting ready for my new format too. So be ready. It won't be it may be a little rough this time. So need your support as we go through this. And it's good to see everybody. And what was the link for yesterday's live? It was jjvirgin.com. Truth Hormones was yesterday's live's one. And I'm going to do, this one will be jjvirgin.com. Yeah, that's a great, yesterday I jumped on with my buddies, Dr. Nat Kringadis and Dr. Sean Sohn. We talked about the Real Truth About Hormones Summit going on now. They got a lot of cool stuff, giveaways, fun stuff, etc. And that is at jjvirgin.com/truth hormones. All right, as you can see, I have a lot of notes here, and I am going to dive in. And again, today I'm going to talk about what you must know before you ever start a diet. We're going to be debunking diets, talking about, they say 80% of them all fail. I think it's actually higher than that. Why is that? That is what I'm going to be talking about, and a little bit of a secret here. I'm actually doing this as a TV segment this week, so I'm practicing with you all. There you have it. Now you know my secrets. And Kellyanne says, love the virgin diet. It changed my life. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. And I got more coming. Like, we are just creating stuff over here like crazy. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. I gotta turn on my Zencaster. And here we go. All right, for the recording, I just want to let you know I'm taping this on Facebook, so you're going to hear, obviously, edit this first part out, and then you'll hear me stop and take breaks, but I'm doing one long way through, so when I do, you just come back and you'll have to edit in those. Okay, so here we go. Hey, it's JJ, and welcome to today's show, where today we are going to be talking about the 5 things you must know and do for your diet to succeed. Yep, crazy stuff out there. If you're feeling like, wow, I'm a failure, you're beating yourself up. No. Back up the train, because here's the deal. They say it's something like, when I had Emily, our awesome Emily, research the stats, it was like 80% of all diets fail. I think it's probably higher than that. And they fail for a very, very specific reason, which we are going to be talking about in a moment here. So hang with me before we get there. We've got some other stuff to do, but we will be talking, deep diving into what you want to do today before you start thinking about going on a diet. If you've been feeling like, like I failed, blah, blah, this is your show. And you'll be able to get great show notes, as always, from today at jjvirgin.com/succeed. By the way, I'm also taping this live on Instagram at jj.virgin and at Facebook at jjvirginofficial. I'll put those little what are those called? Those things. My names on social. I know they're called a thing, and I'm having a total brain fart right now, but I'll put those in the show notes as well. And before we dive into today's show, I want to do a little shout out for Rockin' 50. And she gave me a 5-star review, says empowering in Apple Podcasts, says I'm nearing 50 this June. Here's the thing, you say Rockin' 50 and you're not even 50 yet. Wow. But 50 is the new 30, is it not? It totally is. So I'm nearing 50 this June and I need some motivation and inspiration to stave off the growing fat around my belly. Hey, that is not happening on my watch. We can totally get through this. I feel like I'm in school learning great things on how to take care of my body, most importantly to focus on managing my stress levels and how to be more intentional about what I eat. JJ, you're such a positive person, and I love the variety of experts you interview. By making a few changes to my routine, I feel more sustained energy throughout the day. I have one question. What are some low-impact HIIT workouts? I have scoliosis and jumping aggravates some back nerves. Thank you for all you do. We will put some resources for that in the show notes from my Fast Fitness program, especially my Exciser resource, where you can find that at Burst to Blast Fat, because that is how you can do that without creating any impact or problems. Amazing. It's what I've used to get through some of my surgeries. So there you go on that. And thank you so much for that. I super appreciate it. Now, before we deep dive into this super important topic, I want to share one of my favorites with you. All right, so there's a little break. Now we're going to come back. When you listen to my podcast, and if you haven't listened to it, it's over here at JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show. Although it's coming out with a new name here pretty quick and a bunch of new fun stuff which you're going to be participating in, because we're going to be doing Q&A Fridays, and I'm going to be doing that live on Facebook and Instagram, and then we'll be putting those on the air. But anyway, we are going to dive into the show now. So editor, here we go. We're diving into the show. I just want to remind you all watching, please leave a bunch of comments. Let me know what's going on, especially great while I'm talking. Give me some input if what I'm saying is resonating, is landing. If you've got questions, etc., leave them here, and then I'll address them afterwards. The show right now, the show is now called the JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show. It is getting a brand new name. I am not going to steal the surprise, because we probably have some fun thing cooked up as to how we're going to do this. I'm not sure yet. Someone wants to know, can we be vegan on your diet? What I tell people is I'm diet agnostic. You can be vegan, paleo, vegan, anything in between. I give you more about what you should be eating, which foods you should be eating, when you should be eating. So yes, you can. All right, we are going to dive back in. Here we go. All right, welcome to today's show. Now, we are going to be talking about today, I'm deep diving into diets. And I'm going to be talking over the next couple months, years, forever about diets, because here's the thing. Have you been on a diet? You're probably wagging your head, and I'm recording this live right now on social media. I'd love to hear from you on social media. Have you ever been on a diet? Have you been on multiple diets? Let me see some of this. So let's see some thumbs up. I want to see some responses to this. And I'm imagining if you're listening to the podcast, you're going, yes, I've been on a diet. Of course I have. Who hasn't been on a diet? And how was that diet? If you feel like that diet failed, you are in good company, because when I had my, and everyone's going, too many. When I had my researcher go through and look at what the statistics were, it was 80+% of all diets fail. Now, I just recently interviewed the most amazing Jason Fung, Dr. Jason Fung, on my podcast. He said, oh no, JJ, it's more like 99%. But I think that's because we're looking at diets all wrong. And the diets that we've set up out there, which you will never catch me promoting ever, are set up to fail. They are set up to make you worse, not better. So why do diets fail? Well, this is what I was taught 30 plus years ago that I still see out there, which I cannot believe is still the prevailing wisdom, and it's based on the wrong premise. It is this, and you've heard it before. If you want to lose weight, what do you need to do? Eat less, exercise more. Could we just go blow that sucker up? Because it's not true and it doesn't work. And in fact, what we know about that is if we do it, what happens is when you cut calories, you actually lower your basal metabolic rate. That means you burn less calories because your body goes, oh, we need to do this. If we're cutting calories, we need to conserve energy. So when you cut calories, you slow your body down. Now, if you try to do the opposite, you know what, I'll just move more. I'll do a ton of exercise. Well, all right, the problem is that your body compensates there too by getting hungrier. And so then you eat more. So your body really tries to create homeostasis and keep you where you are. Now, that does not mean that you're stuck. And here's another part of that. And this is kind of a boo hiss. The longer you've been over fat, the longer you've been struggling with your weight, actually the tougher it is. That's not new news, is it? But here's the deal. If you eat and live, critical, if you eat and live like a healthy, lean person, over time, you will become one. But it cannot come from this place of, I'm going to starve myself and exercise like a fiend, okay? Because we all know that doesn't work. You've tried it, I've tried it. All that is going to make things worse, not better. Because, and you've heard me say this before, I'm going to say it again. Your body isn't a bank account. It's a chemistry lab. And you have to do things that support that chemistry lab. You've got to get your hormones to work better. You've got to get your body to work so that your body uses stored fat for fuel. It's a fat burner, not a sugar burner. All right? And it's not storing that fat. So when you really look at, if you're trying to get healthier, if you're trying to lose weight, this is a hormone situation, not a calorie situation. All right. That makes sense? So here's where we need to start then with that. If it's a hormone situation, not a calorie situation, then we need to do the things that are going to support a better hormone response. Now, here's the first thing. And nature hates a vacuum. And this was actually came from my first nutrition mentor, who was just brilliant. And he said, you know, we need to add before we take away. And one of the biggest challenges I think we have nowadays is we have really poor quality food, all this crappy processed stuff. So the first thing I want you to think of is, how do we unprocess your diet? How do we, and this isn't going to say that you'll never eat processed foods, but that you want to eat the majority of your foods are unprocessed foods, are things like fresh fruit and vegetables, especially a little bit of fruit, a lot of vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds, clean animal protein, and more, more of that entire animal, right? So how do we do that? And I say that because then you'll do things like you'll have bone broth, you'll make a chicken, and then you'll throw the bones in a pot and cook those up. So the first thing, again, you want to do is you want to add before you take away. And this is great because the first thing we think of when we're going on a diet is what? Deprivation, taking things away. And the minute you take things away from me, I get naughty, misbehave, and want to eat the wrong things. So we're going to unprocess your diet. We're going to be as closest to nature as possible. And again, let's just think of, I like people eat 5 to 10 servings of non-starchy vegetables a day. So you start making sure you're getting them. You're getting in healthy fats from nuts and seeds and avocados and wild fish and grass-fed beef. You're eating some fresh berries. You're eating clean protein. You're eating legumes, and you're not drinking your sugar. All right, that's a super duper duper important one. Don't drink that sugar. So the minute you start to do that, guess what? Some stuff gets to crowd out. So you're eating more healthy stuff. You're crowding out the bad stuff. That's step 1. Step 2 is detoxify. Now, when you start to lose fat, one of the things that happens is we are bombarded by toxins all around us. And when we're eating toxins, or when we're eating food, we're getting some toxins in. When we're breathing, we're getting some toxins in. When we're drinking, we're getting some toxins in. So what we need to make sure when we're putting things on our skin, so toxins are all around us. Even if we're doing our best, which we want to do is minimize exposure, we're still getting them. Now, the problem is that when you've got toxins coming in, your body, if you can't get rid of them right away, stores them in your fat to protect you. And if you don't have enough nutrients on board, and those are things like sulfur-rich compounds, garlic and broccoli and cabbage and onions. Shout out to my buddy, Dr. Terry Walls, who was just on a podcast, and we'll link to this, talked about having cabbage. She travels with cabbage and she eats cabbage. I was like, you are my new hero. But lots of sulfur-rich compounds, deep green leafies, rich in chlorophyll. They can bind up heavy metals. High fiber foods, again, those bind with toxins, lots and lots of water, liver supportive foods like beets. So we want to really start to focus on what you can do to help your body detoxify and get rid of toxins, because as you're starting to lose fat, you're freeing up those toxins. And if you're not doing things to help get them out of your body, guess what? They get freed up and they go back in. And that is not a good thing. In fact, what was very interesting is the NHANES study when they were looking at obesity and diabetes. Now, we would think that when you have higher levels of obesity, you have higher levels of diabetes. What they found was that was true, but it was because of the toxins stored in the fat cells that were triggering the insulin resistance that was creating the diabetes. So super duper important. Remember, I was talking about diet and hormones. It's all about the hormones. It's all about your chemistry lab. So getting your body on a regular detox program. That's why we do a group detox program over at JJ Virgin with all of our community twice a year to make sure that you've got those habits in place and add some new ones in so that you're just doing things on a regular basis that help you detoxify well. Okay, next one, super important too, number 3 is balance your blood sugar. So big goal we want to have you do, and I talk a lot about this in the Sugar Impact Diet and the Breakthrough Carbon Tolerance online program, is to help you move from a sugar burner to a fat burner. And the way you do this, and you'll know you're able to do this, by the way, if you can go 4 to 6 hours between eating. If you forget to eat, if you're able to burn off belly fat, that all shows that you're a fat burner, not a sugar burner. And this is super important because if you're not able to access stored fat for fuel, then you'll be hungry all the time. Then you won't be able to burn off stored body fat. And so you want to make sure that you're eating from the trifecta of fat, fiber, and protein. That's super important. We're going to talk about that actually next. But I want to also give you a couple hacks, things that can help you balance your blood sugar. One is fiber. When you're unprocessing your diet, when you're eating more whole foods, you're getting foods that are higher in fiber. And that is super important for having a better blood sugar response. It actually lowers the blood sugar response to the meal. A couple other things that do that same thing that are awesome are cinnamon and lemon juice. Now, cinnamon can help balance blood sugar naturally. And I mean, who doesn't love cinnamon? And then lemon juice lowers the blood sugar response to a meal. So there's 3 easy hacks to help you lower your blood sugar, or more importantly, balance your blood sugar. You don't want too high, you don't want too low, you want just right. And then next, and this is also helps with balancing your blood sugar, but it also is important because it helps activate what I call your satiety switch. This came out of my brain the other day, and I'm like, ooh, I almost was like, I should write a book, Your Satiety Switch. But I just love this idea of having this satiety switch, because let's face it, when we're hungry, like it is super hard to be rational. Now, one thing I want to tell you about being hungry is hunger is usually a moment in time. It's a wave you ride. And I love what my buddy Dr. Joel Kahn said, hunger equals younger. We are been trained to go, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, I have to have something, don't let yourself get hungry. No, that is really not the case. A little bit of hunger is fine, and quite often you're not hungry anyway. What are you? You are thirsty, right? So when you start to feel hungry, let's make a deal. Instead of going and reaching for a snack that raises your blood sugar and raises your insulin and basically shuts the doors to your fat cells so you can't burn stored fat for fuel, instead of doing that, have a big glass of water or try some iced green tea. I always have to enunciate that well because people thought I was saying ice cream tea. No, sadly not. I am not. Iced green tea, which I love because the catechins in it help with insulin sensitivity, and the theanine in it is very calming. So it's really got, it's kind of a multi-purpose besides being yummy. It's really super good for you. So water or some iced green tea, or also with the water you can add in some lemon juice. Again, that can help lower the blood sugar response to the meal, and the lemon juice can help take your sweet tooth away. So look at what you can do to, when you start to feel hungry, that's step 1. Don't eat, have some stuff to drink. Have some water. You could also throw some chia seeds in that water, and that can help you last longer too. Next thing is, when you do eat, this is what I want you to do, because this will activate, again, that satiety switch. You're going to eat fat, fiber, and protein. Here's what they do. So fiber and protein slow down stomach emptying. When you slow down stomach emptying, you actually suppress something called ghrelin. Ghrelin when it's up, maybe triggers your hunger. So you want to keep that suppressed. You actually want it up high at night. This is why we don't eat and then go to bed. We give ourselves 3 to 4 hours before bed after eating, because ghrelin at night triggers the release of growth hormone, super important. But we want to keep it down during the day so you're not as hungry. So eating protein and fiber together slows down stomach emptying. That's super important. And then fat triggers the release of some satiety signals in the small intestine to tell your brain that you're full. So these all work together, not only to balance blood sugar, because they do that too, but also to keep you feeling fuller longer, keeping you satiated. So that is super important, because then you are able to go 4 to 6 hours between meals. It keeps your insulin down. It helps you burn stored fat for fuel. And remember, we talked, diet is really a hormone problem. So if you are over fat, it's really a hormone issue. A lot of that has to do with what's going on with your cortisol and what's going on with your insulin. Now, the final one, this will come as no surprise if you've been around my community, because I talk about this a lot, is to stop snacking. Stop it. Snacking. I'll never forget. I get this big box sent to me from Frito-Lay. I kid you not, I cannot make this stuff up. So I get this big box from Frito-Lay, and it's inviting me. It's got all these crappy snacks in there. These low-fat, supposedly healthy snacks, but it was just all this refined grain and stuff in there. And they invited me to join their snacking council. And I'm thinking, have you done any research on me at all? If you were doing any research on me, you know that I'm an anti-snacker. Now, here's the other thing. Do you really need 3 meals a day? We probably don't. We probably need a little later breakfast, an earlier dinner, and maybe if you need something in the day, a snack. That's where I use my JJ Virgin all-in-one bars or my fiber bars. But, we don't probably need these 3 squares. And we definitely don't need 3 squares and then 2 to 3 meals throughout the day. Here's why. We were taught a couple years ago, about 20 years ago plus, when we were taught that fat was evil. Well, they pulled the fat out. Of course, they added sugar in because they had to do something to make it taste good. And then they said, all right, we should be eating every 2 to 3 hours to keep our blood sugar stable. Well, that doesn't keep our blood sugar stable. You know what it does? It keeps our blood sugar up. And if our blood sugar is up, every time you eat, blood sugar goes up, right? Well, if your blood sugar goes up, your insulin comes up to get your blood sugar back down, because your body doesn't want to have blood sugar up. It's sticky and inflammatory. So blood sugar's up, insulin comes up, brings blood sugar back down again. And then you go, oh, I better have a snack because I feel just a little hunger. Can't be hungry. Eat a snack, blood sugar comes up again, insulin stays high because it cannot return to normal because you still got blood sugar around. So what happens is you keep blood sugar, insulin high all day long. If insulin's higher, you can't access stored fat for fuel. You are turned into a sugar burner, not a fat burner. So this is where you never want to be. You want to stop the snacking. And I want to add into that, because we want to talk a little bit more about meal timing. I used to be adamant, eat within an hour of waking up. Now what I say is eat in the morning when you get hungry. That might be an hour after waking up, might be 2 hours, might even be 3 hours. On the weekends, I try to go a little longer so I can have a later breakfast, kind of a breakfast, lunch, brunch. I guess that's what that's called. And then I try to do an earlier dinner. So sometimes on the weekend, I'll eat breakfast around 10, 11, and dinner 4 or 5 o'clock. So that's what I like to do on the weekends, because I really like to get some time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting going a couple days a week. But all week, here's the commitment we need to make. You want to go 12 hours overnight fast. So stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. By the way, this is super important. That does not mean go to bed later. Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. I want you to really stay true to your bedtime. Eat dinner earlier, all right? Super important. And dinner's not your biggest meal, right? Let's go earlier for the biggest meal so that you have time to digest that throughout the day. All right, so you're going to eat later breakfast, earlier dinner, 12 to 14 hour overnight fast. Eat when you're hungry. When you first feel hungry, have some water, have some ice cream tea, have some bulletproof coffee. I just drink that black bulletproof coffee. You can add a little of the MCT oil in there. There you go. All right. Those are the 5 key takeaways. Super important. Now, after the break, I'm going to be coming back and I will give you back those takeaways again. Make sure you have them all right there for you. So stay with me. I'll be right back. Okay, editor, now we're taking a little break. I'm going to do some shout outs here and then we'll jump back in with the final part. Thank you guys all for being here. I see a lot of questions in here. I will come in and answer all these questions. Thank you so much for asking them. Really appreciate it. And for all the comments, the fun little comments and stuff while this was going on, because it makes it more fun. I like to record my podcast with you all, because otherwise I'm sitting by myself in a little room. You know, it's different when I have a guest, but when I'm by myself, it's like, all right, is anyone out there? Anyone? So here we go. We are going to wrap this up now. As soon as I find my sheet. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, just got a number. Okay, got it. All right, coming back, editor. Here we go. All right, welcome back. So I want to review those top takeaways so you can put them into immediate action. I also want to remind you to grab those show notes so that you can make sure that you too can put them into action. So what you'll do is you go to jjvirgin.com/succeed. I'll also include in, from our listener earlier, I will include in the information on HIIT training and the exerciser. So here are the 5 key takeaways that you're going to want to make sure that you put into action. And again, you can get the notes at jjvirgin.com/succeed. Super important there. Number 1, first thing, add before you take away. Introduce more high quality whole foods into your diet. Number 2, detox. Put those detox strategies in place so that as you start to free up the fat and free up the toxins, your body can get rid of them. Number 3, balance your blood sugar so that it's easy for your body to become a fat burner, not a sugar burner. Number 4, activate your satiety switch by eating from the trifecta of fat, fiber, and protein. And number 5, stop the snacking. Eat 2 to 3 meals, and remember to get at least a 12-hour overnight fast. Super important. Now, I want to remind you to jump on over. I love giving shout outs to people leaving a review on the show. So you can do that over on iTunes, JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show, and jump on over to iTunes, leave a review. And while you're there, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of this goodness. All right, see you next time. Bye. Okay. Hang tight for 1 second. And we are back. All right, so now I'm going to do another one where I'm going to answer some questions. As soon as this thing goes up, I will jump in and I will answer some questions. So I've got to do a new recording over here on Zencaster. So thank you guys all for staying with me while I multitask over here. And I'll see what questions come up. So I'd love to see you post any questions you have right now. That would be super awesome so that I can answer them live on the air. And again, whatever they are, they do not have to relate to what I was just talking about. Okay, you can do whatever you want, whatever, how's that? We haven't really figured out the format for these yet, I don't think. So we will see. I'm looking to see if we've done that. Okay, nope, we haven't. So I'm just going to jump in and add questions, and we can just figure out what the heck we're doing when we're doing it. All right, so we'll make these clean though. All right, oh, I love this question. Oh, Suzanne, I love this question so much. So Suzanne Pastrano from Facebook at JJ Virgin Official says, she asks, how do you commit and stay on track when your family isn't following the same plan? You are planning, I see, to go to start the Virgin diet soon. I am so glad you asked this, and here's what I will tell you, is do not turn this into a battlefield, because you might win the battle, but you will lose the war. Now, here's how you do this, is you let them know what you're going to do. You ask them if they want to be involved. If they say yes, great, involve them. If they say, heck no, mom, blah, 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 then just say, okay, fine, no issues. Then what I found is we have amazing recipes in all of our programs in Virgin Diet, Breakthrough Carb Intolerance, Breakthrough Food Intolerance, Sugar and Fat Diet, and the cookbooks too. And so grab the recipes and start making them. Just don't say anything. They often are like, why are we getting such great food? You know, it's like, if you don't make a big issue out of it, they won't. And if they want you to stock stuff in the house that's like not good for them, first off, I didn't do that with my kids. What I did with my kids was I taught them to eat the good stuff first. If we were going to do something like cookies, I made homemade cookies. But or I bring in So Delicious 1 gram of sugar coconut ice cream. But if we were going to have something like that, we often went out for it. And so I don't think you don't need to get an A+ on the diet. So if they want to have stuff, you know, I'm not going to keep things like chips and garbage in my house, but we would have occasional, what I would consider treats in the house. But keep the good stuff around for them and don't make a big battle over it. If they choose to eat other stuff, they choose to eat other stuff. I'll tell you what's happened as I've done this, is that they all come around. They start to see how I'm doing, how I'm feeling. They start to ask about it. They start to see if they can get some, you know, hey, could I start doing that? And next thing you know, they're eating that exact way. And this has happened with a bunch of my different friends over the years, with my family over the years. And so what I've just done is let them know what I'm doing and show them, you know, made it available to them, but did not force them into it. And, you know, they may or may not come around, but quite often I find they do. And I remember I had a family of 4, and one of the sons was like, I think, 100, 200 pounds overweight. It was pretty extreme. And the rest of them were somewhere, you know, were in the obese category. And the mom and the son went on the program. The other son and the dad didn't want to do it, but they finally were like, oh, okay, they're doing so well. This actually looks pretty delicious. We'll just do it too. And the next thing you know, everybody had lost. They lost collectively like over 300 pounds. It's like crazy, or maybe even 400. So involve them as much as possible, give them the opportunity, and then just do your thing and have great results and see what happens, because you'll be amazed how well that works. All right, let's see what else is going on. I'm checking on Facebook, and then I'm going to jump on over there to Insta. So Insta, if you've got some questions, let me know what you have. And Mary Doll says, I've lost 40 pounds, but really need help and encouragement, please. And thank you. Hey, Mary, are you in our JJ Virgin Lifestyle community? So if you are a member of any of our programs, and soon our membership that we're launching soon, that I'm super excited about, you will get all the encouragement, support you possibly could need in our Facebook group. We've got my coaches in there, and it is fantastic. So if you've joined any of the programs, the Detox, the Breakthrough Carb Intolerance online program, Breakthrough Food Intolerance online program, Fast Fitness, you're in there, or you can join any of those, and the community is invaluable. Robin, hi Robin, how are you? So Robin Dollar says, I'm starting to take lunches to work. Need lots of ideas. And actually this question says having to start to take lunches to work. I would say whether you have to or not, this is something that you want to do so that you can control what you're eating and save money. And this gets super easy, by the way. And we have a promo. I'm not sure when you're listening to this Q&A, but we have a promo coming up. We're actually giving away a lunchbox because we here at JJ Virgin, Team JJ, are big fans of you taking your meals to work so that you can control what you're putting into your chemistry lab. Here's the easiest way to do this. The easiest way to pack things for lunch is to make more of the dinner the night before. That's the most simple way to do this, is just to make more. And here's the easier one, is always make extra protein. So whenever you're making a meal, make extra protein. And then I always have all these salad fixings. I personally love salads for lunch. And so I keep a bunch of stuff in the fridge that are easy to put into salads. Avocado, cucumber. I rotate between sunflower seeds and walnuts, carrots, onion, tomatoes. So have a bunch of different stuff in the fridge that you can easily chop up for a couple days, and then make extra protein from the night before. Put the protein on the salad, put your dressing in a little thing on the side, and there it is. It's simple. And in that salad, you want to make sure you have a lot of deep green leafies, right? And then you want to get some starchy carbs in there. So that could be something like some chickpeas, and then some healthy fat. So that could be things like the garbanzo or the nuts. And then some of the protein from the night before. To me, that's the easiest, peasiest way to do this, because depends on how you're going to be able to reheat something at work. It may not be so easy. This is an easy one to do. Now here's another easy one. Same thing, you can use the leftovers for those siete tortillas, those cassava tortillas. Oh my gosh. Shout out to that siete family for just nailing it on that. So those siete tortillas are another easy thing that you can take to work to make some really yummy little burrito roll-ups on. So that's another easy one to do as well. But again, I want you to think of leftovers because I like to maximize my cooking experiences. So that I minimize my time in the kitchen. So if I'm making something for one night, it's just as easy to make it for 2 nights or for the next day. Just make it simple on yourself and think about your week. And we do this in the Breakthrough Carb Intolerance and Breakthrough Food Intolerance online programs. You'll see in our meal plan, same with the detox program, that if we're making one meal, it's used for multiple meals. And that's why, just to make it easy. Also, it's about setting up your pantry for success. So making sure that in your pantry, you have beans in there, wild rice in there, nuts and seeds in there, and then and olive oil, right? And then you always have some fresh lemons, some avocados, some little potatoes. Little potatoes are a great thing to bring to the office after they're cooked because the resistant starch when they get cold is so good for you. And tomato sauce, especially tomatoes in jars, not cans. Keep all that in black beans, keep that in your pantry and in your fridge, all the vegetables and your freezer, frozen vegetables, and then your protein sources. And it's just about being well stocked and then doubling up whatever you made the night before. All right, hope that helped. Let's see if we have any more over here. Let's see. So Carla says, and this isn't editors, this isn't for the questions. I've ordered products directly from your site. It takes more than a week to receive. So the products on Amazon are the same as the products on my site. They're just more expensive because Amazon charges us a bunch of money to put them on there. Our products should ship in they should take 2 to 3 days. We have 4 warehouses. So I would contact support@jjvirgin.com because we've gotten that thing down to a science where it's normally 2 to 3 days because we ship from Florida, Connecticut, Nevada, and Montana. So not sure if we just got stuck over holidays or something like that. All right. And Suzanne says, thank you. My husband thinks it's just another diet. Yeah, here's the thing. And I'm going to shut these off right now. I don't actually believe in diets. And if you knew my world at all, you know that I don't believe in diets for diet's sake. So what I believe in is that we use diets therapeutically to learn some things about our bodies, like what we should or shouldn't be eating, which foods work for us and which foods don't, how much carbs we should be eating, when we should be eating, and that this depends on our genetics, our epigenetics, our lifestyle, our health, current health, and our goals. And so we don't use, like, the virgin diet's not set up to be a virgin diet forever. The virgin diet's set up for you to figure out which foods work for you and which foods don't. And then once a year, you need to reevaluate those, right? The sugar impact diet is set up to help you look at how many carbs you should have in your diet, how much sugar can you handle, where should it be fitting in? And then we have you do a detox twice a year to really get those habits in place. So that's where I see diets fitting in. I don't believe in a diet. In fact, if you look at diets, if you go just straight on a diet, what happens is you dump your metabolism. And so it just doesn't make any sense. And it is such clear science that I never understand why we're still doing it that way. All right. Yeah, the window behind me. This was like, I needed something because I had a blank wall. So yeah, I love that you put the window. We're moving in a couple months, but this is my temporary digs. How to make it look like something. Okay. I have to jump off and go do a coaching call. Great to hang out with all of you guys. And I'm going to be back this week. I'm doing some fun things this week, by the way. So here's what's going on this week. I am, let's see, I'm just making sure I don't miss anything super mission critical. Is it healthy to eat just fruit for breakfast? No, that is not what you want to do. I thought that diet had been dumped a while ago. You do not want to eat just fruit for breakfast because it's just going to raise your blood sugar, and that is not the way you want to be. So no on the just fruit. Throw it in your smoothie. That's what we teach people to do. Fruit in your smoothie. Blueberries. I'm kind of in a blueberry obsession right now. I am doing a couple fun Instagram lives this week. So if you are over here on Facebook, you'll want to jump into Instagram at jj.virgin. I'm going to be doing an Instagram live with my friend Natalie Jill. I think I might be doing that tomorrow morning. And then I'm also doing one with my buddy Dr. Pedram Shojai on microbiome. And then I'll be jumping back on Facebook and Instagram later in the week talking about food intolerance. And we are going to be doing a Virgin Diet Masterclass next week. Yay! So we haven't done one for a while. We just updated it, upgraded it. So we're going to be doing that next week. I'm super excited about that. So that's all stuff coming on. All right, cool. I will see you again. Natalie Jill is awesome. She is, we're going to go do some trapezing together here in a couple months. I think it's going to be Natalie and Shalene and some other people. We'll get a lot of video. That will be super fun. All right, see you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me during my podcast. I appreciate you.